Tonight, police say drivers on Interstate 35 should be back on alert.
3 months after reports of someone throwing rocks at cars on the interstate, investigators say it has happened again. Another case was reported over the weekend. That's in addition to 4 from this past summer, including one that left a man with serious head injuries. As KXAN's Chris Sadeghi reports, this most recent incident did significant damage.
4 times last summer, a rock smashed down into these cars, but this damage is nothing compared to this damage. Kenneth Johnson suffered a major head injury when a rock smashed through his windshield, sending him off-road. At a fundraiser in August, his family and friends all had the same wish.
Well, we're just praying that they catch this guy before he does it again.
It's not just to catch somebody for justice for Kenneth, it's so that it doesn't happen to anybody else.
But unfortunately, it has.
3 months had passed since we had those cases back in the summer, and those victims were hoping that the problem had gone away. But this past weekend, same spot, same type attack.
The victim's brother sent these pictures to KXAN. He said his sister was driving around 1:30 in the morning in the same lower deck I-35 area where all the other cases happened, between 32nd and 40th Street. The good news is that this time nobody was seriously hurt like Kenneth, who was only just now able to walk short distances, according to friends. They told us when it happened that someone needed to be caught quick.
He has ruined my friend's lives, almost killed him. He almost died from this.
In August, Austin police asked the public for help and said they would beef up patrols in that area to catch whoever was doing this, but couldn't tell us if those patrols were still happening now 3 months later. The search could resume now that the danger has apparently returned. In Central Austin, Chris Sadeghi, KXAN News.
Well, this latest case has not been connected to the previous incidents yet, although police will likely assign it to the same investigator.
And the criminal charges can vary for people caught throwing rocks at cars. An APD detective told us at the very least it could fall under the category of criminal mischief. That is a misdemeanor. But if someone gets hurt, it can rise to the level of aggravated assault, and that is a second-degree felony. The detective also pointed out if a person dies as a direct result of a rock-throwing incident, that suspect could face murder charges.
These rock-throwing incidents happen all across the country. Back in July, police near Weatherford arrested 2 teenagers accused of throwing rocks and railroad spikes at cars and trucks on Interstate 20. One spike hit a woman in the face. She survived. The teenagers facing charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And 4 teenagers in White Deer Township, Pennsylvania, faced charges after a July rock-throwing incident along Interstate 80. Police say they were throwing rocks at cars. One woman hit in the head, leaving her with critical injuries. After incidents in Ohio, state lawmakers there created a task force to examine the cost of putting up fences on bridges to block people from throwing things off. They found that a 10-foot curved fence cost about $100 per foot, but overpasses on the Interstate 35 lower deck in Austin are around 80 feet long, making the fence cost roughly $16,000 per bridge. So we wanted to know if that's something TxDOT would consider doing. A spokeswoman told us today it simply would not be feasible in Austin because the city just has so many elevated structures and the cost would be too high.